we have Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Sharon, I'll let you take the lead on this because I think Shaun has frozen. Either that or he's fallen asleep. so Sharon, I'll let you take the lead. I'll let you take the lead on it. Tell us about Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris.
Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris is based on a book by Paul Gallico, very versatile and interesting writer. And so Mrs. Harris is a char lady. She does for people. She does their cleaning. She goes around the houses. She does people's laundry. She does their mending. She's a domestic who will go and she works in post-war London in 1957. So it's just at the end of rationing,
Yep.
before the swinging 60s. So it's in that gap when um, Britain was basically emerging from the shadow of the Second World War. And for 14 years, her husband has been posted as missing, and he has finally been declared dead.
Yeah.
So since 1944, she has been waiting for word of her husband, and she has finally been told that no, your husband was killed when he was in the services in 1944, and you are a widow. And so while she's doing for one of her clients, a very posh lady, Lady Dent, I believe her name is, she opens her wardrobe because she does her cleaning and she puts all the clothes away, she does the laundry, and she opens the wardrobe door, and inside is a Christian Dior dress,
Yeah.
and she's just mesmerized by it. And her employer says, it was an amazing dress, but I just had to buy it. It was £500, but I just had to have it. And so Mrs. Harris basically just has this vision that that's what she wants. She has an epiphany that for all her work, for all her lives, she wants something beautiful, haute couture, just for herself.
Yeah.
For years she's struggled, she's got by, but she's never had that one thing. And this has become her dream, that she will save every penny she owns to go to Paris to buy a Christian Dior dress. That's what she does. And by different means, you see her basically doing her mending, doing her cleaning, doing the laundry, doing everything, having a little flutter on the dogs, basically trying to get enough money so she can go to Paris. And then I won't tell you how, but she finally does get enough money to pay for the dress, £500 for a dress and her travel money. And then she basically heads to Paris and presents herself at the door of House of Dior to say, here you are, in her broad Cockney, I've come to buy myself a dress. And the reactions of the different members of staff vary. Some people think, wow, she's this breath of fresh air. Others, it's like, gutter stunt, we don't sell to the likes of you. And
Yeah.
others, it's like, well, if you've got cash, we want it. Because money still talks. Doesn't matter where you're from, it still talks. And so you have this sort of contrast between the people who see her as this sort of innocent, but this good-hearted woman, but
Yeah.
essentially an innocent abroad. Others see her as just someone who's beneath them, just one of the workers who you have no right to own a Dior dress. Why would you
Yeah.
want a Dior dress? You're a char. And then others who see her as, well, if she's got money, we don't care where you're from, you've got money. And then the
Yeah.
story unfolds as you see her experience all these different conflicts, but her ultimate aim is to buy this beautiful gown to own for herself.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, cool. So, Shaun, you looks like you're about to jump in with something.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was going to talk. I thought Sharon the thing. Yeah, no, this was okay. With this one, I loved. There were some scenes that I really love. I really loved the railway scene with the the French dudes, the old boys sat in the. I mean, to me, that was a lovely scene there. Oh, madame, because like the French, some of the French are very eloquent, and I mean, I like that bit, and also the bit with obviously, like with like with queues and things, and like in Britain we queue thing, and in on the continent they don't particularly do that. And she's like, oh my, so she gets a bit hoity-toity, but I really enjoyed this to start with, and I loved the London stuff. I loved all the London stuff, and I loved her story. I loved the backstory. I like we say with the characters. There's a lot of characters, her friends, and the people she knows, and it shows us it was a really caring time. And but then I sort of knew where it was going to go, if you know what I mean. And I think in that middle bit, I started to think, so I don't know, call it cliched if you will, but I found it that the middle bit was, I would have liked it to have been a little bit short. I don't know why it was, because I enjoyed the I enjoyed most of it, and then I found it dragged a little bit, and then picked up a bit towards the end. But yeah, no, there's great characters in it, great characters, well acted, and it was, on the whole, it was pretty good. It was quite a nice watch. There were some nice scenes, and so that's about the only thing I can say. Is it just seemed a little bit long in the middle with, and you knew where it was going. But hey,
in Paris. Do you mean the scenes in Paris?
In Paris, yeah. Except for the, I mean, with the, you sort of knew where it was going to go. You know what I mean? So there's no surprise. Well, there wouldn't be any surprises anyway, because as soon as there's like, oh, Madame, you know what I mean? And it's great. But I thought she was brilliant. I mean, I don't know about you, Sharon. I thought she was first class. Leslie Manville.
Leslie Manville, yeah.
If you take it as the film, it's fine. As an adaptation of the book, they made some tweaks.
Oh, I haven't read the book, so I wouldn't know.
So I read the book a number of years ago. My friend and I, we both read it at the same time, because I bought it and I read it, and then I lent it to her to read. And she kept a book diary. I keep a book diary, but she was able to look up in hers. And we both read it in 2015.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow. I got it for my birthday. I remember I got it for my birthday. So thank you, Dave. I did read it and I still got it. So there are some differences. The Mrs. Harris in the book is much older.
Right.
And she's a tiny sort of Cockney sparrow of a lady.
Yeah.
And she's a little bird of a lady, quite a bit older. And there's no way on earth that she was ever going to wear that dress, because it was never about her wearing it. And I think in this film, if you made a film about a lady buying a dress that she was never going to wear, it wouldn't make any sense. It makes complete sense on the page. So on the screen, you could never have a beautiful dress that someone isn't actually going to wear. So I think that changed. So that changes slightly the tone of the material, but I thought they did it very well, because you have to take as the source, and then it grows and it progresses to make it a new creation. So it took, I think, it's like some adaptations of books, as I have mentioned before, can be ghastly because they haven't got the spirit of the book. Whereas I think this, even though they completely changed that one, you'd think that was an essential part. The whole point was that she never wanted to wear it. It was never about her wearing the dress. It was about owning something beautiful. And it was like transcending her life, this sort of grey life in post-war London, her scrubbing and cleaning and doing the mundane, to open her wardrobe door and see something dazzling and spectacular. It was her dream, making dreams come true. But I liked the way they did transform it from what was on the page to making it make sense on the screen. So I quite like the fact that they took the source material, but then they expanded it to make it fit the medium. So I liked it.
Okay, so obviously with this, I think this is the kind of film that, even from the title, from Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, from the plot, which can be summed up as lady goes to Paris to buy a dress. Which can be everything about this. It seems like it's setting itself up for, at best, it could be a very heartwarming Sunday afternoon watch. That kind of like, or kind of thing that will be on TV at Christmas. But so A, is that the case? And B, if that's the case, how many stars did you? How well did they do at giving you that kind of film?
I think that was the case. For me, it was the case. It was because I went to see it with a friend, and we both enjoyed it. We laughed at moments. We thought, that was moving. So it did what it was supposed to do. I mean, yes, it was a safe bet, I think, in some ways.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be hard to really ruin a book like that and a film like that. So I would give it a 3, but an enjoyable 3. I mean, it was certainly good. It was entertaining. I liked it, and my friend liked it. So I think it was. Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. It's a fun book. It's a fun film.
Yeah, I would echo that. I would echo a 3-star. I mean, normally, you know what I mean, being a blokey, you wouldn't think it was my sort of film, but I thought it was really well acted. And as I say, for me, the one scene that sticks in my head is the train scene. I don't know for what reason that. I think I really liked the characters in that particular scene, because they were typically French, they were typically.
And it's one of those scenes that's good. That scene where she's this woman on her own, she ends up in this train station with these 3 drunks. That scene could go one of 2 ways. 2
ways, exactly, because that's what I thought first. I thought, hello, especially when it's like, you could be, what have you got there, madam? What could you got? But
exactly, and when you see her, she has a little drink with these guys.
Yes, they
and then you wake up in the morning and you're thinking, has she been robbed? Is her bag going to be there? Is her coat going to be there? I'm not going to tell you what does happen.
No.
But it's one of those scenes that there could be peril.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Mm.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
So,
cool.
so solid 3-star. Good 3-star.
Yeah, I mean, and even from everything I heard about this film, from the title, from the poster, I haven't even seen the trailer, or from the synopsis and all that, I just kind of thought that is if this film was perfectly made with the best it can be is 3 stars. This is a film that's aiming to be 3 stars. It's not aiming to revolutionize anything, but just give you a good couple of hours of watching it. That's what I thought. All right, Holly, you still there?
There are other Mrs. Paris stories, so I don't know if they'll make any more, but Mrs. Paris does go to New York, and Mrs. Paris does have other adventures.
Mrs. Harris.
Yes, Mrs. Harris.
Okay, all right, cool. So, Holly, you still there?